Because Election Day, obviously, we saw some surprises, right? This year was no different. We also had some history made.
Yeah, to take a closer look at Tuesday's results, we're joined by political analyst Gerson Barrero and Fairleigh Dickinson University political professor Dan Cassino. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Buen dia.
Yeah, thanks so much for being with us. Let's start in New Jersey with the governor's race. I don't think many people expected it to be this close of a race, given that registered Democrats outnumber Republicans in the Garden State. So what do you think happened?
Well, look, it doesn't matter what your registration numbers look like if the people don't turn out and vote. What we saw is very similar to what happened in 2009 when we had incumbent Democratic Governor Jon Corzine run for re-election. Democrats hadn't been getting a lot of good news nationally out of the Obama administration at that point, and we saw turnout in what we call the urban core counties, places like Hudson, Essex County, just collapse. And that's what we saw last night. Turnout drops of 20 or 30% in some of those counties. Now, we're still looking at mail-in ballots. It still looks like at this point Murphy's going to be reelected, but it is way closer than anyone thought it was going to be.
Yeah, certainly way closer. And also, Jack Ciattarelli was able to flip some areas that Murphy won by double-digit numbers just 4 years ago. So do you think, Dan, that this is going to actually be called today, or is it going to take several days?
I think we're going to start getting, I think we're going to get enough of the vote by mail ballots in today that we'll probably be able to get a call. But Election Day is far from over.
All right, let's switch gears a little bit and head over to Nassau County. The Nassau County executive race also, we're also waiting on that right now. Nassau County executive between Laura Curran and Bruce Blakeman. Republican voter turnout clearly making a huge difference there, even in areas where Democrats have the largest number of registered voters. So what can we attribute that to?
Gerson.
The first thing is that Jay Jacobs has already been, his resignation has been called for it last night because of the results of this. I think that this is a Democratic Party in New York State that is going to be facing some realities. The realities that the dominance that is in the downstate area, that is the 5 boroughs that compose New York City, you cannot have that kind of dominance where we wind up sitting here, at least for a political junkie who is an independent and non-affiliated person, to have the kind of race that is predetermined by such a margin, wide margin. I congratulate Eric Adams. This path to victory has taken him from really the streets of Brooklyn and New York City to where he is going to be the 110th mayor, making history as the second black mayor. But it's kind of boring for political junkies such as myself. I'm envious in terms of what's happening in New Jersey. Let's have a real race with parties involved that people decide down to the wire. I kind of envy that, Dan. Congratulations to New Jersey for smart voters, for having really a choice and fighting it, duking it out in a political process that can be said, okay, we got the best, and they duked that, they had a fight, a political fight. In terms of New York, I think that we're seeing only the beginning of what can be earth-shattering for the Democratic Party statewide. We're going to see that in 2022. I'm looking forward to the June 28th primary in 2022 at the Democratic Party, see what happens. But right now, Eric Adams, congratulations. You got a tough job ahead of you. You asked for it, and you're going to get it, buddy.
Well, he talked about building a coalition of government in New York City, Gerson, that could really be a model for the rest of the country. But you bring up a very interesting point about what does a Republican need to do in New York City to actually win, right? I mean, of error here last night. It was 30-plus points that Eric Adams won by. So let me ask you this, Dan. When you overall look at the landscape of last night from New York to New Jersey and really around the country, what does it say about both parties?
What we're seeing is what we in political science call homeostatic public opinion. That is when things go too far to one side. So basically in 2020, you had Trump, you had a repudiation of Trump and Republicans at the national level, and then it swings back the other way. And now you're going to get a repudiation of some of the Democrats, especially if people feel like they haven't fully delivered on their promises. If I was a Republican right now, I think, boy, we've got some issues. Our suburban voters are going to work. And if I'm a Democrat, I think, boy, we better be worried about delivering on some of those things that people expect out of us.
Gerson, you want to add?
Well, the point here is well taken. The Democrats have to realize that at the national level, we're seeing the circular firing squad, which the Democrats they have doctorates, they have PhDs in shooting at each other. This is reflecting itself throughout the United States, and in New Jersey is a classic example. But that's how democracy is supposed to be working. So that but the silliness that's going on with President Biden and the majority, the slim majority in the Senate and also in Congress, that's going to change in 2022. And you can't blame Donald Trump. It's a circular firing squad among Democrats. You should all learn from this.
So it's very interesting. Last night we also made some history, right? We had Manhattan's first black district attorney, Alvin Bragg, who's going to replace Cy Vance. We're going to be speaking to him in the 8 o'clock hour. And then there's also Jumaane Williams, who was re-elected public advocate. We're almost out of time here. Let me get both your takes on this. No secret that he has his sights set in Albany, but that didn't hurt him in this race. Were you at all surprised by this, Gerson?
I'm not surprised. And Jumaane has a natural claim, and he should, in fact, be the leading candidate next year. Not that I'm favoring him, but he did take on in 2018 Cuomo at his strongest and the biggest bully that we've seen in New York State in recent modern history. Then, you know, Jumaane deserves another shot at Kathy Hochul. Why not?
Dan, you get the last word here.
Look, New York State is very different. We talk about Democrats upstate, downstate. They are very different. Democratic parties, two different parties in New York State, and you're going to have to decide which of those parties is going to be winning when it comes in Albany next year.
All right, Gerson Barrero, Dan Cassino, we have a lot to talk about. We're just out of time, right? So thank you both for being here on this very, very busy election morning. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.